Welcome to this introduction to the Kelverion VM provisioning and management solution for Azure Automation. This solution includes a self-service management portal, a number of modular runbooks which ensure consistent and reliable provisioning of virtual machines. It also includes the management of your virtual machines across multiple subscriptions and even allows you to schedule future deployments or management actions. Okay, let's take a quick look at the runbooks. So we can see the Roombooks within the Roombooks Studio here. I've got the full solution loaded up. We can see it's connected to my UK subscription. I'm just going to show you that there are a number of other solutions that we have available, and these are all loaded into my Roombooks Studio. It's very easy to manage all of the Roombooks and components within the Roombooks Studio, obviously. Okay, so you can see there are about 15 Roombooks here. There are broadly three processes, each controlled by a monitoring runbook. So the first process monitors for new requests. The second process looks for updates to those requests to give feedback to the users, and the third process carries out the management or provisioning actions. So we can see that the runbooks themselves, as we mentioned in the slides, are straightforward and very modular. We try and keep the runbook simple, and we decouple the separate stages of the process by exploiting a database along with the solution. All of the components for the solution are included. So those monitoring runbooks, those are, as I say, quite straightforward. Those link into the worker runbooks, and we can see here the worker runbook which starts a virtual machine. It has a common error handler, and if we look at the similar runbook which stops the virtual machine, you'll see it follows a very similar pattern, along with restarting virtual machines. Those patterns are reusable, and the runbooks are easy to extend. If you want to copy and paste those activities into a new runbook which adds more management actions, that's very straightforward. We're now taking a quick look at the runbook which deploys a standard virtual machine. The process broadly is very linear. We can see each of these activities. These have just been dragged and dropped in with the Roombooks Studio from the Azure RM modules. We need to branch when we handle the difference between Windows and Linux virtual machines, but we can see with the links and the link conditions that's quite straightforward. The green activities that you can see are providing feedback to the end user, so they can see in the portal once the request has started being processed, once it reaches those key points within the process. And finally, again, we've got a common error handler, so if any of those activities report an error, they're all handled in exactly the same way and the user gets the feedback. So let's take a quick look in the automation portal. So within the automation portal, and you get all of the configuration to build these the services and offerings as well. We can see we've got one offering for deploying the virtual machine, and then we've got three for those management actions. So I am going to deploy a brand new virtual machine. I'm going to call that video test 001. We need to enter FQDN here and a description. So the portal itself actually supports deployment to different platforms, although the Azure runbooks are only for deploying to Azure at the moment. You can see when we select the Azure infrastructure, it allows us to select the locations that are configured, and then for a specific location, the virtual networks, the resource groups that are included. If I switch back to the UK South, you can see it shows me a different virtual network that's configured within the database. So I'm going to go back to West Europe and select my development virtual network. I'm going to select the OS type as being Linux, and when I do that, you can see it just shows me that we've got a couple of images loaded up. If I select Windows, we get a different list of images. These images are direct from Microsoft, the vanilla images that are provided in the marketplace. I'm going to select the size of the instance, and if I wanted, I could select a future deployment date and time, and once that time is reached, then the deployment will start, but I want this deployment to go right now, so I'm just going to leave those blank. So just verify those settings and submit. So we can see now within the requests page within the Kelverion Automation Portal the state of the current request. It was in a new state there. I'm just refreshing it, and we can see it's already switched to in progress, and it tells us the runbook which is currently processing it. So I'm just going to drag over a Azure portal page as well, so we can see the virtual machine when it starts to be built. So a quick refresh, and we can see nothing there yet. I'm refreshing the portal, and we can see that the Roombook owner is updated now to processing the portal request. That's the feedback coming back to the portal. So in a moment we should see, yeah indeed, and as I've refreshed, we can see now that Roombook 30.1.1, which deploys the standard virtual machine, has started. It tells us that the creation of the prereqs is complete, and it gives us an estimated time for the completion there. If I go over to the Azure portal and refresh, can actually see that that machine has started the creation process, and it shows a creating state within the Azure portal. Okay, so there's a few minutes to wait now. I'm just going to do a couple of quick refreshes and then we'll speed time up to save that lengthy wait. We can see now that it's changed to a running state, which is great. The deployment of this image is probably going to take about 6 minutes, so I'm just going to skip through that. Okay, and with a quick refresh, and we can see now once the deployment is complete that the status has been updated again in the automation portal. It tells us the IP address, the username, and obviously I've blanked out the password that we can use to connect to the virtual machine there, and it's in a running state. Once that deployment is completed, that has also updated the automation portal with the information that allows us to tell that machine to be stopped, started, or restarted. Or again, if you wanted to extend the solution with additional actions, then that can be included as well. I'm just going to select the action time to be in the past, so that happens straight away, and I will submit that request. And again, we go through the same process, and it's common Roombooks which are handling each of these management actions. So we can see that the offering is the stop the VM. If we do a refresh, we can see that it's in progress and it's been picked up by the Roombooks. In a moment we will see that state change, and we'll see the virtual machine stop. Okay, I'm just going to do a quick refresh. There we go, and we can see that in the Azure portal it shows stop deallocated, and in the Roombooks Studio as well it shows that the machine is stopped. Now obviously, because all of these actions are controlled through the Azure Automation Portal, you don't actually need to give your end users any access to the Azure portal itself to actually complete actions or to make changes that you don't authorize. Thank you very much for watching this introduction to the VM provisioning and management solution for Azure Automation. If you'd like more information about this or any of our other products, please visit www.kelverion.com.